Hello Anashe. On my last video, I asked some of you to request what kind of incense you want me to try, and Bella Lacrone, one of my favorite followers on YouTube, chose me to go and check the Minorien incense. And I had to sit about a while and think about which one I'm trying to describe it for you, because first of all there are 5 to pick from, and they're all great. And choosing just one is like, making a sin against, it's sinning against the rest of them. The sandalwood is like one of the best sandalwood incense sticks I smelled. Literally, the normal agarwood is my favorite, but those 3 are the Kyara. The normal Fuin Kyara, the medieval recipe Kyara that is legendary, and of course, the Choco number 5, which is supposed to be the best. Now, it's very tempting to pick the best for you guys, but it would be very anti-Japanese of me to spoil the surprise to whomever tries to buy this, that, if they would like it or not. So, it's like usually, as part of the Japanese spirit, I will choose better, the most, but not the best, which would be the middle one, the Fuin Kyara. Now, the thing is this, you look at this and you're saying, wow, this is such a high quality expensive incense, why does it come in such a simple, unornate box? Well, in Japan, part of the notion of aesthetics is all about modesty. When you see something that is incredibly shouty and colorful, usually it's gonna be like something that is considerably cheap. But when you're, at least like, at the time that it was made, if you find like one of those Imari jars that are shouty and colorful, probably when in the past they would have been cheaper. When they were made, they were considered cheaper than anything that would be like darker and austere. Because darkness and austereness, and even blackness, are considered comforting and high quality in Japan. So this is it. This is the little box of Kyara, and as you see, it's tiny. This is my palm. Those are short sticks. Each of them burns for 15 minutes. And it's almost seamless. You can barely see the seam of this box, but it is a box. Okay, I'm opening the box, turning aside the little silk here, removing this padding that prevents the delicate stick being broken, and I'm selecting one stick. That's the stick. It's a tiny stick. It smells like cologne, like very high quality cologne when you sniff it just like that. And in Japan the notion is that not incense should be burned. Some incense sachets are placed within closed garments, and where one would keep clean clothes to make them smell better. Okay, so I'm putting it back. And I've already prepared my set-aware incense burner with rice ash that I use already to burn incense in. Okay? So I already prepared it for my stick. Okay, I'm lighting the stick. And I'm putting it in the rice ash. Okay. This is it. Can't you see the smoke wafting from it? Such a pleasant plumage of smoke. It's not too much, it's not too little, and yet already it fills the room with good smells, very pleasant smells. And one of my friends says that Japanese incense that I burn, they have such a lovely natural smell that it makes them hungry. Now, the first thing that I notice when I'm burning this Kyara is that there is this very faint, very light almost comforting note, and then it disappeared to give me something that is almost flowery, like gardenia. It has this gardenia sound to smell, but the base note is a combination of labdanum and cinnamon, with a touch of the fragrance of allspice. That's how I can describe this incense. And describing the notes of agarwood is extremely difficult. If you don't know agarwood, it's basically, and you want to imagine what it's like, it's very difficult. It's very difficult. Like one of those things that you can't synthesize or replace properly. So this is why it's so expensive, because you either have the real thing or you don't. And I already made a video in Forgotten Witchcraft Ingredients about how agarwood is associated with victory and how agarwood is associated with success. And this is something I definitely add to my Crown of Success condition formulas magically. Okay, so, now it's like a very pleasant, airy, cinnamon clovey at this point. And it's like permeating the air in the room. It's like, it's a tiny stick and I live in a big house. So it's not going to leave a lot of residue, but it's going to leave like a residue of something delicious being cooked, but not something that is overwhelming, because it's a very natural incense. Now, it's amazing because, when you go and get some Indian incense, especially the low-grade Indian incense, it has like this designer perfumes, and they're not made from a lot of natural ingredients, but they smell more pleasing to the Western nose because, it's made to smell nice. It's like trying to please you. When you go to the other edge, which is a Tibetan incense, which is basically a stick of herbs that will burn an hour, and if it's like a long stick, it will burn like 2-3 hours. Your house will basically smell like burning herbs, which is very crude and very raw, and sometimes you want that raw edge, especially if you can get like something like the red sandalwood or the white sandalwood or the agarwood 24, which I think I rated somewhere on my channel. But when you get to the Japanese incense, you get the best of both worlds, because they take the natural ingredient and they basically mix it up with complementary ingredients to take away whatever smells in it that is unwanted and balance it with something that is wanted. It's also more apologetic than the Chinese incense that, you light agarwood incense, it will smell like basic agarwood. You light sandalwood incense, it will smell like basic sandalwood. But there is no like deeper search into the best qualities of sandalwood and agarwood that you want. So in that sense, Japanese incense, in my point of view, is the best. Again, not all of the Japanese incense. This is like, the Minorien, they make like incense that is slightly better than most. It's very traditional and it's slightly better than most. So I'm enjoying this. I'm very much enjoying this Kyara. It's really filling the room, and I think it also has that contemplative smell that one would like to burn in a library or in a place that, one has to sit and meditate or think. And usually the Japanese recommend that, you would burn the incense before your guests are coming, or before you have to sit down and read the book, and not like while it, because then it will be distraction. But they would like you to take it and put it in the corner of the room and let it burn. And when the guests are already coming, the scent will already permeate the air, the fabrics, and everything else. Okay, so this was me trying out Kyara, made by the company of Minorien. It's the Fuin Kyara. I hope you enjoyed this. Goodbye, Nashe.